It's Powerback time on the Gutsy Podcast, your 20-minute boost to reclaim and refocus your energy. Get ready to have bursts of clarity, a boost of confidence, and the practical steps you need to make gutsy moves forward. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. You're trying to communicate something to a partner, a coworker, a friend, a client, but it's just not landing. Or maybe you're trying to market your business and it's not working. People aren't grasping it and it's not converting. It can be super frustrating and make things take so much longer when the communication is off. And whether that's communicating a need, a desire, sharing information, educating, asking for something, or marketing, clear communication not only makes your life easier, it makes everyone's life easier. Today, I'm going to teach you 3 simple shifts that you can make to become a more effective communicator. And that gets things done. It helps your needs to be met, and it helps your projects and your life to move forward. Before we dig into that, I got to tell you, the Gutsy Collective has actually been a really incredible place for women to work out their thoughts before they communicate it with those in their life. For instance, one of our members was having a challenging situation with her partner at home. And along with that, naturally came some big emotions and some confusion. And she used the Gutsy Collective as a space to get some feedback about the situation and how she wanted to communicate her needs and her desires from a grounded space. And because she's done that, her marriage has improved. Their communication is better than it's ever been before. And the tools and techniques that she's using, now her family is using. Sometimes you just need a time and a space and the right people to just hash that shit out loud with. If you have been craving like a sounding board, just people to hear you truly as you are, and then even give you some guidance and some feedback on what's going on, listen, join the Gutsy Collective. It is the community of women that you have been craving, paired with the practical methods for you to take action forward. The link to join is in the show notes, or you can go to LauraAura.com. Okie dokie, let's get into this whole communication thing. Listen, I'm not perfect at it. It's taken me a really, really long ass time to find my voice and my tone and to learn how to be an effective communicator. And also what comes along with that is being an effective listener. So today we're focusing on how you can communicate more effectively, but I want you to just keep in mind that part of this, actually a pretty huge part of this equation, is learning how to listen. Now, we can't manage how everyone listens, right? I mean, you've tried to talk to a kid before, somebody on your staff, a client, somebody standing in the line at the grocery store. Sometimes people just don't fucking listen. And it's not your role or responsibility to teach them how to listen, but it is your responsibility to learn how to communicate more effectively, how to be more clear, more direct, more authentic in your own tone and voice. And to keep in mind that when other people are communicating with you, that being a great listener is half of the conversation. As much as you and I might like to think we cannot control other people, but what we can control is ourselves. And that's what we're going to focus on today. So when I'm talking about being an effective communicator, I'm talking about expressing your needs, your desires, sharing information, educating people. If you're in a business, it's discussing your offer, it's educating people on who you are and what you do, the programs that you have, your marketing messages. If you're trying to express something, share something, ask for something from someone or a group of people, and it's just not landing, then there are some things that you could try to become a more effective communicator. Now listen, I'm not saying that you're doing it wrong. I'm just saying that maybe there's an opportunity to do a little bit of fine tuning. Because listen, total side note, sometimes you could have that shit clear as day, plastered black and white on a poster board in someone's face, and they just don't get it. But for today's sake, we're going to give people the benefit of the doubt. And we're going to shift our focus to just tinkering some of the things that you're doing so that you can be a better communicator with your partner, with your coworkers, with your team, with your friends, with your customers, and your prospective clients. There's 3 questions that I'm going to ask you to ask yourself today. And by the way, this exercise is broken down into a fillable PDF inside the Gutsy Collective. So as a member, you get access to the worksheets that I create that accompany the Powerback episodes. So if you're already a member or you're joining today, all you got to do is go to the search bar inside the Gutsy Collective and search for Powerback 233. That's going to bring up the exercise and the downloadable PDF. Those 3 questions that are in that PDF and that we're going to go through here today are: first, where can I be more clear? Second, where can I be more direct? And third, where can I be more me? So let's break these down individually. First, where can I be more clear? Let me give you an example through a story. This is something that I experienced, but ironically also had the same conversation with a coaching client this morning. Listen, when I am in the kitchen, making something, prepping something, doing my thing, I don't want anybody in there. I actually have a very short fuse when I'm in my zone and I'm cooking dinner or prepping for an event, or we got Thanksgiving going on, right? Like when I'm in there doing my thing, I don't want anybody in there. And my fuse is very short because I've got a path, I've got it planned out. And when an obstacle gets in the way, I'm just not a very nice person, okay? I'm so great in so many areas of my life. That's just not one of them. So speaking of Thanksgiving, a couple of years ago, we had a lot of extended family at our home where we hosted, which I love that. It's so cool. But, that comes with responsibilities. And if you've ever hosted a big meal, you know that there's just a lot of timing. There's a lot of orchestration. There's a lot of things happening. It's just a lot. And I was in the kitchen, balancing the act of Thanksgivingness. And there were just people in my kitchen. Okay. So many people. And I didn't want to be a jerk. I didn't want to tell people to get out. I didn't want to make anybody feel bad. So I just kind of dealt with it. Except the problem with that was the more I dealt with it, the more I just let it be, the more fusey my fuse got. I started to be kind of passive aggressive. I started getting an attitude with people. I was not being clear. Okay. I was not telling people, hey, I don't want you in here. Instead, I was being passive aggressive. I was assuming that they would pick up on my vibe. I wanted them to know that, no, I don't want your help, except I wasn't being clear. And you know what happened? I fucking snapped. I went off the deep end. I yelled out loud. Everybody was like, oh shit. And then there was nobody on that floor. And by the time we sat down to eat, I don't know, I just felt bad. That's not the way that I like to be. I don't like to communicate like that. I didn't like the energy. I didn't even want to eat the food at that point. It just didn't feel good. The problem was not that people were in my kitchen. The problem was that I was not being clear that I didn't want them there. You see, sometimes we assume things. We assume that people should know stuff. We go into the passive aggressiveness. We kind of speak it underneath our breath. We beat around the bush with things, and all that's really happening is you're avoiding communicating what you really need, what you really want to say. And the crazy thing is, if we just give ourselves the chance to say what we need to say, we can do it in a place that's so much more grounded and so much more you, without all that extra emotion that comes along with it. What I could have done in this situation is just paused, looked at everybody, and simply said, I love that you guys want to help, but my space is kind of small. I've got things mapped out. And actually the thing that would be most helpful would be if you would set the table in the other room. If you could entertain the kiddos. If you could put drinks on the table, right? Being very clear about what it is that I need and what they can do instead. People love clarity. I mean, when you're clear and you tell people exactly what you need, they are relieved because now they don't have to guess. They're not trying to figure it out. They're not tiptoeing around you. All that weird energy goes away. And guess what? They get out of your damn kitchen. So ask yourself, in these situations, where can I be more clear? Where can I state my actual need, desire, or request? What can I have them do instead? Clarity is direction. And when people have direction, They love to follow it. Next up is, where can I be more direct? Holy moly, do we love to over-explain. We like to justify things. We want to go over everything. We want everyone to be involved. We want everyone to have all the details. People don't care. People don't care. They just don't have the capacity or the bandwidth to filter through all of these details that are not relevant to them. So let's use the example of being in a meeting, okay? I can almost guarantee you that you have been in a meeting that you were like, I have no idea what this person is saying. I don't know how much longer that this is going to take. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Your energy starts tanking. You start fidgeting. You start multitasking. You're like peeking at your phone underneath the camera lens. That was not a direct meeting. And guess what? Hard truth. Sometimes it's you that's leading it. Being more direct means being focused, simplifying things, not oversharing, not giving too many details, getting to the point, taking out the fluff. What do they really need? Again, people just want to know what they need to know. So how can you be more direct in your delivery? This is what takes an hour-long dragging on meeting down to 20 minutes. This is what helps people to know exactly what you need, when you need it by. What are the details that they need to know to be successful? And honestly, you save yourself a bunch of time and energy as well, because now you're not oversharing all of these details and giving all of this information to people that aren't receiving it. So a good way to approach this is, how can I take out the fluff? What details do they need to be successful? And who really needs this information? Again, when you're direct, very much like being clear, when you're direct, people know what you need. They have the details that they need to be successful. And lastly, where can I be more me? And what I mean by that is, are you trying to talk like somebody else talks? Are you trying to show up in a way that somebody else shows up? Are you using your own tone, your own style? Is there an ownership of yourself? I think about this a lot in small business when you're marketing yourself, whether you're making TikTok videos or reels, or you're writing content or putting up blogs or sending a newsletter. The tone that you're using to communicate, is that your authentic voice? Meaning, if your business were a person, and sometimes it is because that person is you, are you talking in the way that feels most aligned with you? Look, I used to fight myself all the time with my bold, direct, no nonsense, no fluffy, right in your face kind of tone. And anytime that I tried to go against that, things didn't work. Clients didn't come in. People didn't resonate with the content that I was creating. It was unfulfilling. It just wasn't good. But when I embraced my natural speaking abilities, who I naturally am as a person, the more direct I get, I swear to you, the more of you show up. And that's because that is the type of communicator that I am. That is the purpose of my voice. This is what I'm put here to do, to teach, to guide, to tell you the things that everyone else is dancing around. We're going to talk about clear communication. A lot of people do this fluffy dance around, we're gatekeeping shit. Okay, listen, we're not doing that around here. Can we go deeper on things? Absolutely. But when you come across my content, whether it's in a 60-second reel, a 20-minute podcast episode, you're reading my newsletter, wherever it is, I want you to walk away with something of value. Something that makes you think differently. Something that calls out the thing that everyone's thinking and feeling, but nobody's talking about. Giving you practical stuff that you can do to change your life, to take steps forward, to do the thing that you've always been wanting to do. See, even talking about this, I get ramped up, and it's because I am being me. I have no filter. This is my podcast. I get to do whatever the hell I want. And you know what? The more that I do that, the more of people like you show up. You don't attract people and call people into your life by putting on a facade. And if you do, they're attracted to that version of yourself that you have put on. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to put on a front every day. That shit's exhausting. I did it for years. When you communicate as yourself, you attract the right opportunities, you attract the right friends, partners, clients. Your business messaging gets stronger. people identify with like, yes, that is my person. That is the person I want to do business with. That's the person I want to work with. At work, yeah, that's the person that I want to be on their leadership team. I want to work underneath them. I want to learn and grow from them. At home, they get the real you. They're not getting a work version of you or a polished version of you. They're getting your authentic self. And I'm telling you, this is probably one of the most liberating things that you can do. So I want you to ask yourself, where am I holding back? Where am I not using my voice? Where am I dimming down my tone, my empathy, my creativity, right? It's not even just about the words that you're saying, but it's how you're saying it. It's your expression. And I'm going to throw in just a little bit of an asterisk because there are some times, places, and situations where you can't necessarily say or use the tone that you might like to. Like at work, for instance, maybe being more of you is much more expressive, or you use colorful language like I do. But in the workplace, that shit doesn't fly. What I recommend in that type of situation is to really get to know like the essence of you and your voice and how you hope people would feel around you. So for instance, if you work in an atmosphere that's maybe a little bit more reserved, a little bit more corporate, and that just doesn't jive with you, like communicating with your team members and your leadership team, that's just not how you typically communicate. This is where you can lean into, okay, how would I want people to feel around me? How can I bring my essence in? Maybe you have more warmth to your tone. Maybe you bring in a little bit of energy. Maybe you've got some comedy. Even though you may not feel like you can be 100% you in this particular situation, you most certainly can infuse parts of you. And let's also not forget a deeper conversation and a reflective moment that if you are in an atmosphere, whether it's at work or with friends, at a place that you're at in your business, if you're consistently feeling like you can't be who you are, then that's grounds for a question of, am I in the right place? Last quick thought here I want to share with you is just give yourself grace and compassion. This is your first time being a human in this timeline, and no one knows how to effectively communicate perfectly. And let's be honest, our society does not exactly bring us up to know how to do that. You're learning as you go, and especially as you step into new roles, whether that's at work or maybe now you are a new spouse, now you're a parent, maybe you have a new best friend. Each one of these situations is a little bit different. And so the best things that you can do is first accepting that you can't change or control how people receive you, and that there are things that you can do to help show up for yourself and those people more. And that's asking yourself, where can I be more clear? Where can I be more direct? And where can I be more me? And quick reminder, if you join the Gutsy Collective, you can get access to this fillable worksheet by searching for Powerback 233 in the community. You can sign up today by going to the link in the show notes or by going to LauraAura.com. If we are not already Facebook friends, what are we doing, my friend? Listen, I'm on Facebook, TikTok. I do have Instagram. I don't use it much anymore, but I'm on there. You can find me using @thatLauraAura. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.